Good morning, YouTube. Well, the arsons are still going on here in East Dayton, and it's really been the arsons and the heroin epidemic in this city is probably the worst this year, at least the last several months that I've ever seen. This house was reported to have an arson last night on the news, 47 North Findlay Street, but I'm not seeing really any fire damage, but it was reported on the news last night. And you know, these problems are not, you know, unique to Dayton. You know, there are many former industrial cities, you know, that are all over, you know, Ohio and Michigan, you know, that have these problems. And I just don't know when it ends. I mean, and you just cannot, you know, run a city where people just, you know, don't care, you know. And there was a notice on this house, assuming this is the one that caught on fire, but that's over there where I did the video, where I started the video from back this summer, the Welcome to East Dayton, home of abandoned welfare houses. And speaking of that, you know, this is not to, you know, demean anybody, but just because you are poor does not mean that you cannot care about your neighborhood and have some pride in it. And you know, when you have a lot of these problems, you know, of course, this side of town, you know, where you have a lot of, you know, rental properties, and, you know, you have a lot of poor people, and, you know, you have all these problems, you know, with, you know, the arsons. You know, this is right in the middle of the heroin highway, by the way, you know. Just, you know, when you have all these problems, you know, converge together, you know, you have a lot of people who are just, I just want to say, they're just along for the ride, so to speak, and as a result, they just simply don't care about their houses or their neighborhood. And you just cannot run a city, you know, that has, you just can't run a city where people just simply, you just cannot run a city where people just don't care about the overall, you know, condition of their neighborhoods. And in this part of Dayton, I mean, this is easily, you know, 50 to, this house was one of my East Dayton slumlord videos, 36 North Findlay Street. And, you know, when you have these type of problems, you know, you have, you know, too many people that just simply, you know, don't care. Like, look at these boarded up houses, these vacant houses. You got this one, then on second, you got at least two more that I showed within view. That one, you know, right there. And you know, and when you combine, you know, things like, you know, the high taxes and other things, you just have people that just simply, you know, don't care. And just because you're poor or on a fixed income, you know, does not mean that you cannot care, you know, about your neighborhood or whatever, you know. And you just cannot run a city that just, it's one of the other abandoned houses here. And at some point, people have to realize and start having some pride in their neighborhoods again, because until we can, you know, reverse the effects of the homelessness, you know, the decay and a lot of these problems in these neighborhoods, especially poor neighborhoods, are caused from people that just simply have no wealth. They have no money. A lot of these problems, you know, last, you know, generations and generations. And I just don't know when it, you know, ever ends. See this house right here, there's a busted out window, boarded up on the bottom, and you know, I'm a poor person myself, so there's no excuse why we can't actually care about our, you know, neighborhoods, you know. That's not an excuse, you know. Just look at all this garbage right here. Is this really how we should be living? You know, like garbage? Just because you're poor or on a fixed income doesn't mean that you can't care about your neighbor. There's another boarded up house back there within view on, that's Philadelphia Street back there. And just because, you know, you're poor doesn't mean you can't care. So, you know, we have to ask ourselves this much, you know. Is this really what we want the future of our cities to become? Because unless, you know, people both rich or poor or middle class start caring about our neighborhoods, this is going to be the unfortunate and continued result of these problems. At some point, you know, it's gotta, and otherwise we're just gonna continue on a path of destruction, and more people are, you know, moving out, you know. Hey, how you doing here? And more people are just gonna continue to What? Nah, I'm just filming for my YouTube channel because I'm sick and tired of the city, you know, not doing their job, you know, to clean this shit up, you know. Which one? This one? Oh, you bored them up? I think there was a arson, I think, on 47. I think it's on this side. It didn't look like 47 was just recently set on fire, but there's another arson. I tell you, man, just the amount of arsons and the heroin, it just seems like just these last several months, it's gotten worse than ever, you know. I mean, I'm 38. I don't ever recall this side of town ever being a nice part of town. I'm not putting you on camera or anything, but I don't ever recall this side of town ever being nice during the time I've been alive, you know. Just as long as, you know, all the trash, as long as you have people that don't care or too many renters in a neighborhood, we're just going to continue to have these problems. And just because a person's poor or on a fixed income doesn't mean you can't care, you know. And it's just,
it don't take nothing to go out there and pick up a little bit of trash out.
And to try and chase the bums and the druggies out of your neighborhood, you know. And people just simply, you know, don't care anymore, you know. I mean, everywhere you look, you know, boarded up houses, you know. And until the city, you know, starts, you know, lowering the property taxes, making things business friendly again, make efforts to clean this stuff up, get more money to raise these properties, it's just going to continue to get worse and worse, you know. It's sad.
Well, good luck with it.
All right. Yeah, if you want to see my videos, type in East Dayton or downtown Dayton in the search box on YouTube. I think you'll find that the perspective I give from an inner city resident is a very real and transparent one. I don't make these videos to bash a city. I make these videos to show reality, that what the city leaders don't want us to see, that what we know exists, and to show, you know, to get people fired up, so people will finally have some motivation to want to demand the changes that need to be made, you know. Yeah, but, you know, type in East Dayton or downtown Dayton on the search box on YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube page. You'll see a very real perspective. I mean, I show some good stuff too.
Check it out, just don't put me on there. City guy might want to get rid of me.
The only thing is your voice. All right, have a good one, man. Just speaking with a citizen there, he just boarded up that house back there. But anyway, YouTube, that's gonna be it for this one from the decay of East Dayton, you know, the home of the arsons. And the arsons that took place were not in the same neighborhood. Well, they're in the same neighborhood, but they're about a mile apart from where the other ones were taking place at. Down on 5th and Linden, that was the third if in the area, which is only about half a mile away from there. But anyway, YouTube, that's going to be it for this one, and ask ourselves, is that really what we want the future of our city to be? Or are you guys are we gonna finally do something and start picking up our neighborhoods and start caring? Otherwise, that's going to be the future of your neighborhood. But that's it for this one.